All right, folks, there are two different data points running simultaneously when it comes to real estate. One of them, year over year, real estate in Ontario has been dropping by 6.3%. That's data showing. But there's the other side of real estate that not a lot of people want to talk about, but it is happening. I have two examples, one of them in Halton Hills and another example in Hamilton. However, some of the viewers say, well, look, you're picking and choosing and it's cherry picking. And yes, it might be, but it's not, right? Because there's more and more cases out there. People are losing their homes. So imagine buying a custom home, your dream house, right? Only a few years ago for $3 million. Guess for how much they sold it today? I mean, it is insane. And how do you actually get to the point where you're actually losing hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in losses over a span of few years? And then we're looking at the data. We log into all these websites, Ontario Real Estate Associations, Ontario Real Estate, Toronto Real Estate Board, and then it claimed, hey, listen, overall we went down by 6.3%. right? Year over year, right? Now, many people are in different situation, and I understand if they don't have to sell as per claim. Some viewers commented on that. If I don't have to sell, I'm not losing everything. Yes, I agree with you. But if you have to keep it for an unreasonable monthly cost, then it might not make sense, right? Because some people are paying 3 to 4 times more to be in their home versus renting their own home, right? So it is crazy. But let's get into the actual data here. So case number one is in Hamilton. One of the most shocking examples comes out of Hamilton, Ontario. A massive 4-bedroom plus 2-bedroom in the basement home at 166 Concession Street sold for $3.32 million in February of 2022, and we all know that was the actual peak. However, early this year it sold again for just $1,850,000, which is a staggering loss of $1.47 million. You don't have to believe me. I mean, Google the address, but that's what it is. Can you imagine losing $1.47 million? That is crazy. Most people work all their life to save or to acquire or to make $1.47 million. But it is happening, folks. It is happening out there. All right, so case number two, Halton Hills. A custom bungalow on over an acre lot, multiple kitchens, hardwood floors, granite counters, in-laws suite, bought for $2.6 million in April of 2022. So we can consider that still being the peak. After the bank stepped in under a power of sale, it sold in May of 2025 for $1.865 million. That's a loss of $735,000. So it's staggering. It's eye-watering almost, right? Like, I mean, and these people that have bought, right? Like, what happened in between, right? So from 2022 to 2025, I mean, they had to bleed to a point where they couldn't take it anymore, because whoever I'm assuming in that situation will not give up that easily. Like, they will continue to force, they will continue to push as much as they can without losing their house or without declaring like a bankruptcy or giving the home to the bank. All right, so let's continue. So market context, right? So according to Ontario Real Estate Association, the average resale home in Ontario sold for $814,300 in May of 2025, and that's a down of 6.3% from a year ago. So that's exactly what I'm saying. So average person looking at the data will adjust their list price or will adjust that particular listing or their mindset that, hey, look, we're only down by 6%, right? So it's not that big of a deal, right? So if you're calculating you know, on $1 million, 6% is not much at all, right? Like a couple of $1,000, so it's not a big deal. And even though your neighbor is selling on a power of sale and will affect you in a comparative market analysis, people don't understand. If you have a couple of these, you know, power of sales or these sales that their bank are taking over, they do not care. They will sell it. That's it, right? So reality check. Yes, the average price is 6% down, but behind the statistics, there are people losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes millions, because they bought at the frenzy in the peak, right? So yes, we talked about that many times. Nobody knows, like at the time, like if you really think about that, when is the peak? Like we will not know when is the low, when is the rock bottom market, right? And we can do a poll. What do you think? Is this the actual bottom of the market and there's only up from here, or we still have a long ways to go? So please comment below and subscribe if you're at it. So, but the whole point is that like there's so much uncertainty and so much going on that people are frozen, right? So I to be honest with you, I really don't know. I think we still have a long ways to go until we hit that rock bottom, right? So power of sales. Let's explain that for a second. When you see a power of sale listings pop up, it means the lender has taken control. So the homeowner defaulted on their mortgage and the bank, they're not sentimental. They're here to cut their losses and they'll do it fast. So if you ever, God forbid, get to that point of a power of sale that the bank takes over, you're in a bankruptcy and stuff like that, they have no sympathy. They don't care. They're looking at the numbers. They want out. They want to get their money, and that's it. It's very simple, right? Some banks will work with you, right? Like, you know, like they're trying to extend deferral mortgage payments. Like I've heard that terminology a lot. Like people are deferring, which means, you know, putting a hold on a mortgage payment for a month or 2 or 3. I don't know what that threshold is, and if you do, please comment below. But if you ever get to that point that the bank is taking over, and they'll call the shots and they'll sell it for next to nothing just to get out. Yes, they're claiming they want the, you know, obviously the market value or whatever, but the one priority for the bank, they do not want to lose the money. They want to get the money and they want to get out of that deal as fast as possible. So that's basically the scenario. And yes, that particular power of sale, as mentioned before, will impact you in the neighborhood. So if you're maybe laughing, or if you're not laughing, but if you're scratching your head and saying, oh, well, they were stupid for buying at the peak at 3 million, now they're selling for 1.8, and you're in the neighborhood, look, that price will affect you as well. Not dramatically, but if it keeps popping up, right, in your neighborhood, and on MLS, if you did not know, well, on MLS, they actually have to state it if it's a power of sale and stuff like that. So agents do know if it's a power sale or not. But so I'm saying the effect will be there 100%. So to summarize this video is that, look, there are two different types of data. There's the average public ongoing data saying, look, we are okay, you know, 6%, just over 6% year over year, even though we're in a falling market, but it's not much, we're gonna adjust. And there's the other side that people are just getting like wiped out, like the rug will be pulled out of their feet. So I hope you gained some value. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.